So Nicky Henderson finished up great the week with Lulamba going on and winning off the back of a great run at Cheltenham. Nicky joins us now. We'll come to that, Nicky, but we have just watched back the Punchestown Champion Hurdle. So if you don't mind, we'll start with that. It was gutting for everyone, of course, and none more so than for yourself, for James. I know for Nico, who will have been watching on, and for owner Michael Buckley as well. First things first, has anything come to light?
No, hi John. Morning, everybody. Not really. I mean, he was a bit sore behind. He's got a bang on a hind leg, which is, I don't think, of any significance. And he was a bit sore in his back. But, I mean, these are not excuses. They're just observations, I think you could say. And I don't think that's really the issue. He was fine. He wasn't 100% sound. Didn't put him on sound. He was just a bit sore the next morning. He's on his way back at the moment. He'll be back this afternoon. So we have to sort of try and read into it all what we will. I mean, I sort of find the conclusion at the end of the day in my book was that there was one telltale moment in this whole thing, and that was when he was at the start. He just turned his head and said, "Dad, I don't want to do this." And that is the most unlike Constitution Hill moment I've ever seen.
We've just, sorry, I've just seen it properly for the first time, just as you were saying it there, and it is a turn of the head, almost a shake of the head, isn't it? And we're probably reading too much into that. But did you fear the worst then?
It is just so unlike him. He wouldn't turn his head away from anything. He would answer everything, and he'd never let you down. Just for me, that was him trying to say, "Yeah, please." He's had two shocking falls. The Liverpool fall was horrible, but as far as we could tell here, we had schools and he'd done everything right. He was a bit sorry for a week after Aintree, and then he brightened up and bounced out, and we said, "Okay, come on, you want to go, you want to go," and he did. He sort of said, "I want to go." But that moment at the start told me everything. Just because it is so unlike him. It's the most willing, level-headed horse you could ever find, and just with this wonderful temperament, which is his strength. But I'm afraid we've probably just entered that little part of him, and he quite rightly said that's what his thought was then. It was so out of character, and then he was jumped the first very big, and he got into a good rhythm for a bit, but no, the race was over at the start. In hindsight, it's easy, but I'd say that's the story.
Yeah, I get exactly what you're saying. I mean, I guess, look, there's a couple of things to cross I's and dot T's into the summer. You gave him an Ascot Gold Cup entry. That's not happening, right?
No, right. He'll be in the field watching it on his telly. Yeah.
Fine. And then do you just take breaths over the summer and see where you are? Because I get exactly what you're saying, and you're just worried where he is mentally off the back of two hard falls. Is there a point in the summer where you all sit down and say, right, what does next season look like? Does next season happen, or are you just taking it, month by month over the summer?
Well, I could absolutely categorically say next season does happen. Yes.
Good.
I think anything otherwise is out of the question. So, but what do you do? I mean, yeah, if I'm reading of it is right, and it may not be, but I think I know him well enough to think that it is. And you can't. The one thing you can't do is read a horse's mind. We think we can, but we can't. And what he's thinking is not what I was thinking at the time, and the only way you can untangle this, I would imagine, unless anybody, for all the advice I've had since Aintree, since even Friday, there are a million different opinions of what we should or shouldn't be doing. Now, if I put them all into operation, the confusion would be horrendous. So I think we'll stick to our own plan, and that'll be to turn him out and hope that he can just literally mentally forget it. And yeah, they do remember, of course they do. But there's not much else you can do. I mean, you know, horse psychiatrists, whisperers, they do exist, but I mean, we'll do everything, but it's just not that easy. I think just a really quiet, peaceful time, and go back to Charlie Vigers, where he spent all his summers ever since he came here. He'll be happy there. And we've just got to try and get him to relax, which is what he's good at.
Yeah.
And get over it all. But his head's pretty good all the time, and I think it was just his own way of saying, not today.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. Appreciate your openness on it, as you have been ever since Cheltenham and with the horse all season. I think we all appreciate that. Lulamba was a real positive. So congratulations, first of all. I mean, you've always known what a talented horse this is. Cheltenham happened. He still ran obviously a really good race. Was this a step up though for you?
Yes, I think it was. I think it's a step growing up, was more than anything. It was only the fourth race of his whole life. And originally after Cheltenham, I thought I'll put him away. He's a nice big baby, and he's got beaten, but he's got all the time next year. And he came back, and he was so fresh afterwards. I mean, he really was ridiculous. We had to go on training him and such because he was dangerous. He was just going to get loose. So we had to go on working him to a degree. And he kept coming back. He's a great, again, like Constitution, he's got a wonderful attitude to life. Just enjoys it. I mean, thoroughly enjoys everything he does. His enthusiasm is unreal. And he said, come on, we've got to go. And Charlie Morlock helps me so much. You know, he kept ringing me up wherever I was. He said, "Oh, this man, you've got to run." And we thought about entering. And that was a bit quick there. But they did a wonderful job with the ground at Punchdown. I mean, I can't tell you. To have got it to where it was under the circumstances and the weather they've had, it's just the same as ours. The ground was absolutely beautiful. And that was a hell of an effort to have 5 days racing on ground like that. It was a treat. And constantly we could run. And I thought it was a great performance. I mean, the time was incredibly good. And the fractions were very, very strong the whole way. They were on 32 nearly the whole way around, and then plus in the straight. That's quick. And, you know, we were missing Nico all week, but, you know, James stood in there and judged this one to perfection. And we got our own back for a sort of slightly unfortunate defeat in the Triumph Hurdle.
Well, I know that everyone was delighted with the runners you had there, and really pleased that the week finished that well. Nicky, thanks for your time. All the best.
Not at all. Thank you.